In another week or 10 days, we're going to have a 1907 Enrique Garcia guitar, Taurus headstock, not the carved top-of-the-line model, arrive at our store for sale. And today I wanted to talk about Domingo Prat bringing one of several Enrique Garcia guitars that he had. Domingo was a student of Francisco Tarrega for about 2 years in the early 1900s, and he left in December of 1907, arrived January 1st, 1908, and the guitar that he brought with him became a mainstay in the purchases of Argentine guitar players. By 1912, Romero, Aguirre and Company Music House was importing Garcia guitars, and I'm certain that Domingo's influence of having brought his guitar with him helped aid that contract that was set up. When Domingo Prat arrived in January of 1908, 16 days later, he met with Francisco Nunez, the guitar maker, who had a workshop with 15-20 workers at least. And Domingo Prat put a dozen Tarrega compositions in his hands for sale. I have a list here. It's from my book, Annotations for the History of Classical Guitar in Argentina, 1822 to 2000. So on page 108, I have a list of Sueño, Recuerdos de la Alhambra, Marietta, Mazurka in Sol, Adelita, Rosita, Capriccio Arab, Studio in Forma de Minuet, Preludes 1 through 7 and 20, and the Nocturne number 2 by Chopin. Mario Rodriguez Arenas tells the story that 8 days later all those were sold out, and they had to wait at least a month or 6 weeks before more compositions by Tarrega were available. These had been initially published around 1902 or 1904. I have the Luis Tena Valencian publisher, a few of the covers in the book as well. On the 22nd of January 1908, Domingo Prat met with Antonio Sinopoli, who had his compositions published at the time by Francisco Nunez, Bray Hermanos as well. And there's an autograph of Sinopoli to Prat, dated January 22nd, 1908. At that time, Argentina was the 6th largest economy, what we would call the California of the world in our 21st century jargon today. And 5 Tarrega students went to Argentina and taught students. Their students would be the governor of a province, or if not that, it would be the governor's wife. Besides, you're a layman as well. But Argentina was founded by General Jose San Martin in 1810. He was a guitar player who had studied with Fernando Sor in 1808 at the Battle of Bailén in Spain when they met there, both being in the army at the time. And in May of 1908, Domingo Prat did his first concert at the Opera Italiani in Buenos Aires. Juan Elias, who was born in 1838, he was 70 years old at the time, and he was running around town handing out flyers. Hey, come see this Domingo Prat concert. And so people got to hear this Enrique Garcia guitar. It is described that Domingo Prat brought the Tarrega school, the Restroke school, to Argentina. Also, you had a different type of people, kind of like steel string players using today, with a finger like that instead of relaxed finger motion. I remember Rico Stover said, well, how many of these players were really concert players? Julio Segreras Also played an Enrique Garcia guitar. I have a photo from earlier in my book here. Here we go. This is a 1918 Romero and Fernandez sheet music edition. Romero and Agra Mayor. It was late teens that it changed from Romero Agra Mayor Company, which was the initial company to do the contract with Enrique Garcia. You see Guitarras Garcia on both sides of the photo with Julio Segreras holding a Garcia guitar. My book has about 3,200 images and photos, 175 biographies. It's 2,630 pages with 77-page, 2-column index, 7,500 names. The guitars of Enrique Garcia were selling for $1,000 and $1,500. The peso was equal to the dollar. I have a 1920 Romero and Fernandez catalog showing that. The highest priced guitar that you could get from the Manuel Ramirez shop, though he had passed away in 1916, was $1,000. Domingo Esteso, Santos Hernandez were listed on the same page, and their instruments would range anywhere from $100 for the white, black, white, round rosette type of simple construction models, up to the ornate rosette and fancy binding models. But the Garcias went up to $1,500. Even at $1,000, that's more than the price of an automobile. I made a comment to some of my customers that I said, oh, this Enrique Sanfilio guitar that I have in stock, made in 1932, that it sold for $650, which was more than the price of a Chevrolet pickup truck at the time. I think I'll end there for today.